Today, we're going to explore how building renewable energy right in your own backyard isn't just some technical fix. It's actually a pretty profound act of courage and trust.
I mean, let's be honest, it's a question that's on a lot of our minds these days. When you're facing these huge, complicated problems, climate change, social instability, it is so easy to just feel, well, paralyzed. So, how do we actually find the strength to act? Not out of panic, but with real purpose. To even start to answer that, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. And you know what I'm talking about. It's that big, uncomfortable truth we all kind of know is there, but we try our best to just look the other way.
Well, that elephant has a name. Some call it a collective death denial. And no, this isn't just about our own mortality, it's way bigger. It's about our culture refusing to accept that the era of endless growth and extraction is, well, it's over. The whole idea of business as usual is ending, and that is a really tough pill to swallow.
And really, this is the heart of it all. Our entire culture tries to avoid limits. The fact that our bodies have them, that our planet has them. But here's the irony. That avoidance is the very thing that stops us from truly living. By constantly trying to outrun the end of things, we completely miss the power and the beauty of right now. Okay, so if denial is the problem, what's the solution? What's the alternative? The sources we're looking at today offer this really powerful ideal, a kind of model for how to live with courage. They call it the night of faith. So what in the world is a night of faith? Think of it as an ideal for mental health. This is a person who completely accepts reality, exactly as it is, with no complaints. They don't run from the hard stuff. Instead, they live with this super clear sense of purpose, and they act with this deep trust, even when they have no idea what's coming next. This whole mindset is about being fully in the world on its terms, right? Not wishing things were different, but actually engaging with what is. And at the same time, it's about having this trust that lets you find an openness of life, even when you're surrounded by dread. It's a pretty wild paradox when you think about it. So you're probably wondering, what on earth does this deep philosophy have to do with solar panels and wind turbines? Well, this is where it all clicks. This is where the rubber meets the road, and this idea becomes something incredibly real and practical. This is where faith turns into action. Look, we have two different paths to feeling secure. On one side, you've got these fragile global systems. They depend on just-in-time delivery from thousands of miles away. They're super vulnerable to shocks, and honestly, they just encourage us all to be more isolated. But then there's the other path, building resilient local systems. And these are built on something called systemic trust, a real deep reliance on our neighbors, on our community, to create abundance that we can all share. And here's the thing you absolutely have to get. That systemic trust, that is the ultimate survival technology. Seriously, forget about the lone wolf prepper with a bunker full of beans. When a real crisis hits, when the grid goes down for real, who are you actually going to rely on? It's your immediate community. Building that trust, that is the real work. And that brings us right to the tools themselves. Because building trust isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling, right? It's something you practice. And it turns out generating local, renewable energy is one of the most powerful ways to put that trust into practice. We can actually break this down with a simple permaculture approach. Step 1, you observe and interact. You gotta understand the natural energy flows where you live. Is it super sunny? Is it windy? Is there moving water? Step 2, you catch and store that energy using the right technology. And step 3, you get a yield. But get this, the yield here isn't just kilowatts of electricity. It's the resilience of your entire community. For a lot of us, solar is the most obvious place to start. And you don't need some massive, expensive solar farm either. Small-scale panels can be enough to power your essential tools, heat your water, and just start to untangle yourself from depending on fossil fuels. It's a real, tangible first step you can take. But for other places, wind might be the real answer. See, this isn't about some one-size-fits-all solution. It's about working in harmony with the natural patterns of your specific bioregion. It's all about working with nature, not trying to fight against it. And hey, if you're lucky enough to live near a local stream, a micro hydro system can be an amazing option. It just uses the natural flow of the water to generate consistent electricity. And a lot of the time, you can do it without building huge dams or messing up the local ecosystem. So when we put it all together, this philosophy of acceptance with these really practical tools, what's the end game? What is the real reward for all this work?
The true yield, the real prize, isn't measured in kilowatts. It's energy sovereignty. That's the freedom that comes from knowing you don't depend on a fragile, faraway system. It's the psychological well-being you get from taking courageous, meaningful action. And maybe most important of all, it's a thriving community that's built on a foundation of real, active trust.
And if this is sparking something in you, if it makes you want to act, there are concrete ways to get started. There are some incredible programs out there that teach these tangible skills. Everything from designing off-grid energy systems and sustainable infrastructure to mastering water harvesting. This knowledge is out there, and believe me, it is more accessible than it has ever been. So I'll just leave you with this question. Take a look at the place where you live. What makes the most sense there? Is it solar, wind, water? How will you take that first step? Not just to build a power source, but to start building a system of trust with the people around you.